Hi, my name is Tom Haddigan. I'm the author and creator of this course. Dedicated to the musicology of the Beatles, I'd like to give some immediate attribution. Over the last 15 years, I have extensively used the works of Alan Pollock. He's a very established and noteworthy musicologist of Beatles works. And I've also, maybe for the last 10 years, I've used Professor Walt Everett's 2-volume work on the Beatles as musicians. Both of them are worthy of, solid study. I'll give you some details at the end of the course. So we're looking at unlocking the music of the Beatles. Several key musical elements define the Beatles' style. Firstly, harmonic innovation. Pollock highlights their innovative use of harmonic ambiguity, achieved through modal mixture and unusual chord progressions. He notes their frequent use of the flat 7 chord, creating a bluesy flavour, and their experimentation with secondary dominance and augmented sixths, adding complexity. Their manipulation of harmonic rhythm to create contrast and drive is also significant. Melodic and rhythmic techniques. Significant is their unique melodic contours, often using restricted ranges, leaps, and stepwise motion to shape the emotional feel. Worth pointing out is their frequent use of appoggiaturas, adding expressive depth and the incorporation of pentatonic scales, creating distinctive melodies and modal flavours. Their frequent use of syncopation and uneven phrasing define conventional song structures. This also contributed to their distinctive sound. Arrangement and production techniques. Noteworthy is the Beatles' innovative use of layering, gradually adding instruments and vocals to build texture and create dramatic shifts. Their skillful use of stereo effects, panning, delay, reverb and flanging is highlighted, creating an immersive and psychedelic experience. They also incorporated instruments not typically found in rock music, like the sitar, which Harrison played, harpsichord and mellotron, which expanded their musical palette. I think Martin played the harpsichord on one of their famous tracks. The careful attention to detail, even in seemingly minor aspects of the arrangement, is another defining feature. Further analysis reveals a systematic approach to composition that goes beyond standard pop music practices. The combination of inventive harmony, melody, rhythm, and innovative arrangement techniques created a unique sonic signature for the Beatles. Several musicologists' analyses reveals a systematic approach to composition that went beyond standard pop music practices. The combination of inventive harmony, melody, rhythm, and innovative arrangement techniques created a unique sonic signature for the Beatles. Pollock's analysis reveals several unique Beatles compositional techniques, primarily through detailed examinations of individual songs across their career. His approach goes beyond simple descriptions, delving into the nuances of their arrangements, harmonies, and melodic choices. Modal mixture and ambiguity. Now, Everett highlights the Beatles' frequent use of chords from the parallel minor key within major keys, and vice versa, creating harmonic ambiguity and a unique emotional colour. He notes that their innovative use of the flat 7 chord, a Beatles' favourite, that adds a modal bluesy flavour. This technique, often found in songs like And I Love Her and Help, blurs the lines between major and minor tonalities. Unusual chord progressions. Everett dissects their surprising chord choices and progressions, going beyond standard pop song structures. He points out their use of unexpected chord progressions, such as 1-4 of 5-4-1, progression in 8 days a week, creating a teasing harmonic effect. He also identifies the use of pivot modulations, smoothly transitioning between keys using a shared chord. The use of secondary dominance and the augmented sixths further contributes to the complexity and unique sound. Harmonic rhythm. Pollock notes that their manipulation of harmonic rhythm, the rate of chord changes, to create contrast and drive. Fast harmonic rhythm generates excitement, while slower rhythms build tension. He highlights their skillful use of irregular harmonic rhythms to emphasize syncopation. melodic and rhythmic techniques. Pollock meticulously examines melodic contours, noting how the Beatles employed leaps, stepwise motion and restricted ranges to shape their melodies. He identifies specific melodic devices such as appoggiaturas, non-harmonic notes that add expressive depth, and the frequent use of pentatonic scales to create distinctive melodies and modal flavours. The use of short phrases, often repeated for rhetorical effect, is also highlighted. Rhythmic syncopation and irregularity. Pollock emphasises their use of syncopation to create rhythmic drive and energy. He also points out their use of uneven phrasing and surprising shifts in metre, defying conventional song structures. The interplay between rhythm and metre is described as key to their overall effect. Unusual phrasing. The Beatles' use of uneven phrasing lengths, where phrases don't adhere to typical lengths, is noted. This contributes to the unique feel and unexpected turns in their music. Arrangement and production. Layering and textual contrast. Pollock extensively analyses their innovative arrangement techniques, noting their use of layering to build texture and create dramatic shifts. He highlights how they used changes in texture to articulate form. The contrast in textures is another key element to consider. Pollock also points out their pioneering use of stereo techniques like panning, delay, reverb and flanging to create a unique sound. The deliberate use of stereo to amplify effects is another of their unique traits. This contributes or creates a more immersive and sometimes psychedelic experience. Use of non-rock instruments. The introduction of instruments not traditionally associated with rock and roll, such as the sitar, harpsichord, mellotron, help to expand their musical palette and create a distinctive sound. In summary, analysis unveils a systematic approach to composition characterized by an inventive use of harmony, melody, rhythm, and arrangement that went beyond standard pop music practices and created a unique and lasting sonic signature for the Beatles. Many in-depth explorations reveal the complexities and subtleties in their music, demonstrating the sophistication of their creative processes. Now, this is Alan Pollock. Now, Alan was a professor of music who later in his career actually gave up music to become a software engineer. I gather he's since returned and plays as a classical pianist. I think he was one of the early serious analysts of the Beatles' music. I think he was a little bit behind Walter Mellors, the Times correspondent, but his is a full analysis, a very sophisticated analysis. And of course, I've used his work extensively. Another person whose work I've used is Walter Everett. He's a professor of music at Michigan. Now, the relationship between Alan Pollock's work and Walter Everett's work, I'm not 100% sure. I suspect that Walt actually has used Alan Pollock's work as a sophisticated foundation. But they would be the individuals to indicate exactly the unique elements of their studies as opposed to the derivative elements of their studies. But I would highly recommend both. They're simply fabulous.